For me, back then it was mostly three reasons. First of all, I wanted to learn another language and get some speaking practice too, because I had done some other language classes, but without applying it, it's really difficult to get it anchored. I wanted to gain working experience because I was just finishing my studies, and I thought that doing some volunteer work might be a good opportunity where I can also give something. And I just wanted the experience to be abroad. The Centre Formation Jeunesse, they organized a pre-departure training where we were talking a bit to prepare ourselves for the experiences that we would have. I went to Portugal, and specifically I went to the Azores Islands. And there I was in a little village called Horta on one of the islands. I went in the beginning of June of 2012, and I stayed for 5 months until beginning of November. I would say the first impression I had of the country of Portugal was when I landed in Lisbon to change planes. I had an overnight stay and I was shocked by the traffic chaos. I was working as part of a team of the Natural Park of the Azores Islands. So they have kind of natural parks on all of the islands. And on the island where I was, they have a botanical garden, which was the center for the natural park management. And I was working mostly in the botanical garden, but also doing field excursions. So it was both office work and work outside in the nature. My first impressions of the organization, it was a bit frightening to have so many new people, and especially people that were talking in a foreign language. But I think I was welcomed really warmly, and I immediately also felt that I had a place in there where I could really develop myself and my skills. I think one of the skills that I gained was definitely to manage myself and plan my working day, even on my own, even when there was more or less work, to also meet deadlines that, for example, had to be met. It was definitely also to work in a team, to communicate, to kind of receive tasks and carry them out and get feedback. And I think it was just in general getting used to office work. And yeah, that was something that I did not really have before. Immediately after my EVS, I tried to find another experience doing some kind of voluntary work. So I was working for a couple of weeks in a zoo, and afterwards I tried some other places that didn't work out so well. And then finally, in the end of 2013, so a year after my EVS finished, I started looking for a job. I applied in a pretty broad range of jobs, so partially in the area of environmental management where I had done my EVS, but I also applied to some other types of jobs. I definitely think that it's something useful for the job market, and I also think that it contributed a lot to my personal development and kind of a feeling of growing up, which also makes me more adapted to life in the job market. I'm currently working with a non-profit organization that is mostly doing activities in the field of sustainable mobility, and they're specifically an organization that does lobbying work and projects around the bicycle, so to promote the bicycle use mainly in daily life. What I brought home from my EVS experience is my girlfriend. I met her during the midterm training of the EVS when we were in Lisbon. She was doing her EVS in there. And a month later, when my EVS finished, I returned back to Lisbon to visit the city, and we got together, and since then, that's now 2.5 years, we have been spending some time in her home country in Macedonia, and now since a year we are living together here in Luxembourg. I absolutely would. It was really, for me, an amazing experience. There were a lot of difficulties, but still the nice times outweigh everything negative.